Good morning, everybody. Good morning, coaches. Day 3 of our group. I still can't believe we are in August, but I have my shake in hand. This is normally the time of my morning where I drink my shake, read my personal development, get a little bit of my work done, and let this digest before my workout. So I'll give a couple minutes, give you guys a chance to hop on. And also to make sure I'm in the right group. So I see Anjanette hopped on. So I am in the August push group, correct? Just want to make sure, sometimes that happens. Hey, Michelle. So I'm glad that the morning was a little bit easier for some of you guys. I figured I wanted to go live in the morning. Just good morning, Danielle, for the morning crew, for the people that in the morning it's a lot easier for them. I do have some notes written down because I did not want to forget to tap into a couple tips that I wanted to share with you guys. But let me move my phone out of the way so I don't get distracted. I am a big multitasker, so I'm used to doing 5 things or more at one time, so I want to focus and be able to chat with you guys. So, good morning, Casey. Good morning, Diana. Good morning, everybody. I'm super excited to be one of the leaders of this group. I was very honored that I was asked to be a part of it. So before I get into the meat and potatoes of this and give you guys the tips I want to give you, I just want to tell you a little bit about me. I have been around with this group for 5 years, but I do want to tell you a little bit about me for those that don't know me. You might recognize my face but don't know much about me. But let's see, I've been in Success Club for 55 months straight. I am a Success Club 5 All-Star Legend, and just past June hit Success Club 10 All-Star Legend. Hi, Allison, long time no see. Hey, Tina. So I'm super excited. That was one of my big goals that I wanted to hit. I wanted to walk that stage at Summit 4, but they bumped Summit up a month, or else I probably would have walked. So I am going to walk next year. But that was one of my big goals, was to walk across that stage for my personal growth in the business. I've always looked at Success Club. My mindset with Success Club is the amount of people. So I don't look at, like, when I hit Success Club 29, I don't look at it. That was my highest. I was trying to beat my best in July. I didn't quite get there, but I was close. But I look at it the amount of people. So July I helped 11 people. When I hit Success Club 6, I'm like, okay, I hit 3 people. I look at it for the people, because if you have that mindset of people, this is a relationship business. This is a people business. Hi, Janice. Hey, Nina. So with it being a people business, if you take the people out of your mindset, you're going to find that it's going to be more of a struggle to get to the goal that you're looking for. If everybody is just a number and not a person with a story, with a struggle that you have a solution for, then that's where you're going to see that you struggle. And I speak that from experience. When I was focusing just on the number, I gotta hit Success Club, and number, it was a struggle for me. When I changed my mindset and I just changed the way I wanted my business to be, I am such a people person, and I wanted my business to be that. I wanted the tribe that I attracted to be those types of people. So when I shifted the way that I spoke to people through Messenger, when I shifted the way that I shared my story and did like a challenge group post, like an invite post, when I shifted all of that, it just all started to change. I do want to piggyback a lot of the things Michelle was saying on the first. I do all of the same things. I started working this business. I had a full-time job, so I worked it part-time, an hour to 2 a day. I stayed up late when the kids went to bed. I did my work, got up a little bit earlier. Like this morning, I have a friend that I'm going to visit. She lost her husband a few months ago, and I'm going to go spend a little time with her. I got my butt up at 5 this morning, an hour earlier, so I can do a focused power hour, follow up on my orders, invite people from a post that I did. And I got all of that done before going live, because I knew it was important. For me, helping people every month, hitting Success Club, for me, I want to help a minimum of 10 people every month. I've bumped my number up. So in order to do that, I have to put the time in. So I'm piggybacking everything that Michelle said. I do all of those same things. Hitting Success Club and helping the number of people every month is a non-negotiable for me. It has been since the day I decided to build this business. I reached out to Mike Greenberg, asked him if he would mentor me and show me the ropes of his business, teach me everything that he knew, and he is still my mentor to this day. I still do calls with him. It is very important to have that accountability and to have somebody to bounce ideas off of, and things like that. So if you do not have a partner in this business, that's one tip that I would love to give to you, is to make sure that you have that. I am a busy mom, 2 teenagers, so they keep me busy. They're both in high school this year. So they keep me busy. I timeshare, so I don't have them all the time, but if there's any timeshare moms in there, you know that you're still on mom duty 100% of the day because they're texting or calling you with the same issues. So I'm very busy. I'm building a Beachbody business and a real estate business. So you just have to make the time. There is no such thing as finding the time to work your business. It has to be important enough for you that you make that time. So let me look at my list here. Let me show you some of my tips here. Okay, so one of my biggest tips that I can share with you. Do the work. This is my top tip in hitting Success Club every month and helping people, because we would not be doing this business if we didn't like to help people, and we didn't want to pay forward what we've gotten out of the Beachbody products. Here's my biggest tip. Do the work even when you don't feel like it. That is what I have consistently done. Hey, Caitlin, in my business. I do the damn work when I don't want to. Because that's where success is. Hey, Stephanie, that's where you're gonna find that your business is gonna go to that next level, and you're gonna find that you're gonna start reaching more people. If I didn't do the work on the days I didn't want to, I wouldn't be hitting Success Club 22, Success Club 29. I wouldn't be hitting these numbers that, now that I think about it, I remember when we were talking about setting Success Club goals. And I was always afraid to say I wanted to hit Success Club 10 because I did not believe in myself. Even though I worked really hard, I didn't believe I could hit Success Club 10. I remember when I first signed up, it was right around the time that you could register for the Success Club trip. I didn't believe that I could earn it. Didn't sign up. Come mid-year, I had already earned half of it. You've got to have that belief, but you also have to put the work in when you don't want to. That is the most important time to put the work in, when you don't want to. That's going to help you with consistency. It's going to help you stay on track, and you are going to find that if there's something you're struggling with at that time and that's just when you don't want to, when you start focusing on others and helping others, you start to feel a little bit better inside yourself also. I've gone through a few miscarriages while being a coach just in the last couple years, and helping other people and still doing my work even though I was emotionally distraught. I was still pushing myself to work. It was helping me get out of that slump that I was in because I was helping other people. It was making me feel a little bit better. I really dove into personal development because my mind was a mess. So it can help you. But you have to give yourself that little push. Exactly, Katie. It's therapy. Helping other people. Like, have you ever heard that saying, if you want to learn something, teach it? You just reach out, help other people, and you're going to see that it's going to help hold you accountable on your own journey, and it's going to help hold you accountable on your goals that you have for your business too. So you really have to really do the work even if you don't feel like it. It's just like in our fitness journey. What do we tell our challengers? Push play even when you don't want to. You've got to push yourself to push play and get that workout done even when you don't want to. It's the same with our business. No different of what we're telling other people to do on their journey is what we need to do for our own business. That's how you stay consistent. You do the shit even when you don't want to. It's the only way to stay consistent. There are definitely days that I don't want to do anything. There are days that I want to take off. And I'll tell myself, I'm going to take tomorrow off. I deserve it. And then tomorrow comes and you know what? I don't take off. Because it's been a habit for me now. It is my habit to do my work every morning. So that way I can enjoy my afternoons when my kids come home from school. Because now I'm able to work it full-time at home. So I stay home and I work my Beachbody business full-time. So I went from 1 to 2 hours a day of working to a lot more hours a day of working. I would say maybe, I've never really timed it, but if I had to guess, maybe 5 or 6 hours a day that I work on my business. You know, I'll work a 2-3 hour block, take a little bit of a break, and then work a couple more hours in the afternoon. If I don't have the kids, if I have the kids when they're doing homework, that's when I go back into working. So we're just kind of all working together at the dining room table. You need to make your family, another tip, Your family is not your excuse to not work your business, just like they are not an excuse to not be on your fitness journey. They are your reason. You don't realize that our children are watching us, and you're setting that example. It's a legacy that you're building. So don't let them be your excuse. Make them be your reason. Maybe with your children being your reason, you're doing it for them. It's going to push you to do it on the days that you don't want to. Reminding yourself as to why you're doing the business is another thing that'll help you stay on track. Let's see my other tip. I wrote it all down because I had it all going through my head. Okay, so another tip that I have for you guys, and another thing that I changed, which is helping me raise the number of lives that I'm changing every month, which is hitting Success Club, but that's my mindset, is the number of lives I'm changing. And when I post for my team, they're the life changers. It's just a mindset that I have with it that has really, really helped me in the business. Hey Danielle, how are you? Is I changed the way I talk to people. I stopped holding back on asking questions. Like, there are so many times that I would invite somebody to my group and they're like, no, thank you. And the old Tanya would have just wrote, okay. And that would have been it. Well, how do you continue a conversation from there? You don't. The conversation is dead. So then the next time would just be like, hey girl, how are you? And it would be a hey girl message. I don't send that many of the hey girl messages anymore because I no longer stop the conversation. So I don't have to do the hey girl messages to start the conversation back up. So what I've been doing is I don't hold back on asking questions anymore. If I get a no thank you, my response now is, okay, no problem. If you don't mind me asking, is this a not right now no, or a never, I will never be interested no? I think that's kind of bold, but I ask it. And a lot of times I get the, well, like, never say never. And then that opens the door to me saying, okay, so if you don't mind, can I keep you posted? Because I run these groups each month. Do you mind if I keep you posted on the groups? I usually get a, not at all, I would love for you to follow up with me. There have been a couple that I have gotten, no, I'll never be interested. I'm good on the journey that I'm doing now, but thank you. I still don't end it there. That's when I ask for a referral. That's great. I'm so happy that you found a journey that works for you. If you don't mind me asking, do you know anyone, maybe a friend or a family member, that might benefit from the virtual groups that I run? I just love to try, and I always say, you know, I love to try to help as many people as I can. So if you know somebody, I would love the referral. Don't end the conversations, guys. Don't end them. So don't end the conversation. And I think a lot of this comes from, I've always worked in sales. So a lot of this never ending the conversation, I think, comes from all of the training with my sales jobs. But they always say that you always end a conversation with a question. I don't know if you guys follow me or if you see my posts, but I ask a lot of questions on my posts because it gets people talking. People like to talk about themselves. So what do you do when ghosted? Being completely honest, I write on their wall. I write on their wall if I'm being ghosted. Like, hey, I hope everything's okay. I haven't heard from you in a really long time and I really miss our chats. And I put that right on their timeline. And then a lot of times they comment to that. And then we end up having the conversation I would have in Messenger on their wall. Sometimes they don't respond to it at all. But I have a different mindset with ghosting. It's actually not a tip that I wrote down, but now that it's brought up, I want to address it. Here's my tip to you guys when you're ghosted by people. Think back to challengers that you have and coaches that you have that ghosted you. I have a coach on my team that ghosted me for 8 months. I have another one that has amazing transformation results. She ghosted me for almost a year. So you have to think the mindset when people ghost you, it's because they have a guilt feeling inside because they know that they're not doing what they should be doing for their own health. Or they know that you're going to tell them exactly what they need to hear to start, and they feel fearful of starting at that moment. So because they have that fear, they figured if I don't read her message, I don't have to answer, and then I don't have to face this fear of being afraid to start because I'm afraid of failure. So when people ghost me, I used to get so frustrated. And then I realized that my mindset was on that frustration, that obviously no positive was coming from the rest of the day because I was so focused on this negative mindset of the people that were ghosting me. So now people that ghost me, I still send them messages. I still follow up when I need to. Or if they're ghosting me for a really long time, I go on their timeline and I look at their pictures and I look at their posts. Maybe there's something that they're really, really struggling with, and I can comment on that post and try to help them. So I go about that a few different ways, but for me, a lot of things in this business, I had to change my mindset, which is the same thing for getting the rejection and getting the word no. I used to hate that word, and now I strive for that word because for me, once they give me a no, it's almost like it's a challenge. Like, okay, so let's find out. Can I keep telling you things, or are you going to give me a friend? It's going to be one of the two. I'm either going to keep telling you about my groups, or you're going to refer someone to me. And sometimes once they refer someone to you, their wall comes down because they realize that, you're really just trying to help. And then they end up wanting to join with their friend. So that does happen sometime too. Hey, Samantha. So I wanted to share that tidbit with you as well. Let me look through these tips because I don't want to take too much of your time. And if anybody has any questions while I'm looking through my tips, just throw them in the comment thread. I'm pretty good multitasking, so I can answer your question and then get right back to what I was talking about. Let's see. I talked about that. Okay, my last tip for you guys, which Michelle did talk about this as well, is you need to get a system. You need to get a system. Let's see this comment right here. I get ghosted all the time, so rather than being frustrated, I've started loving their posts. Exactly, if you have gotten back in touch. Exactly. And let me talk about ghosting real quick too. Hey, Samantha. So I was ghosted by a lot of people. Another thing that I changed in my business, which really shifted a lot of my success club, I've been very bold with the way I'm talking with people and very bold with what I'm looking for in a coach and very bold in my posts. And I did a very vulnerable post about my life with abuse. And it was a hard post to do. I wrote it out in my notes of my phone as I was thinking it. It was heavy on my heart, so I just wrote it out. And when I was ready to post it, I was just able to copy and paste it. And a lot of people commented, liked, loved, sad-faced it, and supported me. It took me a while, but I took the time in that day. Every single person that liked it, gave it a heart or whatever, I went and sent them a message and thanked them for their support. And then everyone that commented, I did the same. Some of those people were people that had ghosted me. Once I got to a personal level with them and thanked them for that support, they started messaging me back. And then we started a conversation. So sometimes it could be as simple as just saying, thank you so much for supporting me. It's very hard to post something vulnerable like that, but we all know that we have to be an open book. We have to really share 100% authentically to reach people, to be relatable. And just a simple thank you sometimes can start that message. But let me get back to a system. And Katie says she needs a system. Okay. This is so important in your business. And let me explain how I used to do it. When I was the first coach and I was working at part-time, my system was go into my Facebook message thread, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and start those conversations back up. Then I started realizing people were falling through the cracks because when I would finally meet back up with somebody and chat with them, guess what? They ordered from a different coach. And I'm like, damn it, I lost it. Then I realized I needed a system. But this girl didn't want to pay for a system. I was like, I'm not really making enough money yet to pay for it. Like, I want that money to do my hair and do my nails and be a little selfish for myself for a change because I'm never selfish, right? So, a couple coaches were talking about systems that they used, and one person just quickly mentioned that they heard somebody talk about doing a note card system. Because I tried the notebook, pen and paper, didn't work for me. Too many pages to flip through, and I'm so OCD with organizing that the notebook didn't work for me. It stressed me out. So I decided to I was like, ooh, note cards. I know how I could do note cards. So I want to share the note card system that I use with you guys completely free. Maybe this will help you. It helped me tremendously. So I went old school, back to elementary school, and got one of those little note card boxes with note cards. And then I got the month tabs, and I got the number tabs 1 to 31. The 1 to 31 were the days of the month. And then obviously the month tabs were for the month. So if someone's like, check back with me in 2 months, that's where they would go. So what I did is I started writing a note card for each person. I put their name and I wrote on there where I know them from. Did I meet them from my like page? Did I meet them at Publix? Did I meet them on Instagram? Wherever I met them, I would write it on the note card and I would write just a little tidbit of what we spoke about. And then they would go into my follow-up system. So say it's the first of the month and I talk to somebody and I want to follow up with them in a few weeks. I would put them 3 weeks into that month on that day of the note card system, and so on and so forth. And so what will happen is, today's the 3rd, right? So I would get out my little box when it was time for me to do my power hour, and I would grab all the note cards from the 3rd, and they would go right down in front of me. And I would go 1 card at a time, and I would work my power hour. And then I would put them wherever I wanted to follow up. If it was someone I sent an order to, I would follow up the next day to make sure they got their order. That's what worked for me. But then my business started to grow. And my box was getting bigger and bigger, and not even exaggerating. I had one of those long black boxes. I bought it on Amazon, of course, buy everything on Amazon. And I had to build the box. Well, then I had to go on a trip and I had to put it in my suitcase. Well, by the time I got to my suitcase, my index cards were all over my suitcase. And the dates that I had them set for follow-up wasn't there anymore. I just had to kind of put people wherever and just kind of start over, which stressed me out. So then I decided it was time to find something online. I know some people use Google Streak, is it called? I tried looking into that. I can't figure that one out yet, but I also haven't given myself a lot of time to figure it out, but I know that's another one that I don't think you have to pay for. I use Teamzy. And the reason why I will stick with Teamzy is because it's basically my note card system electronically. It was very easy for me to switch over. It's very organized, which that's how I am. I'm organized. So I have my bubbles and I set my goals and then I raise my goals, but that's what I use. You've got to have a system, whether it's a notebook, whether it's an index cards, whether it's Excel, Google Streak, which I think Google Streak is similar to Excel. Whatever it is. I know some people use, what's it called? Trackivity or something like that. Tractivity. I looked at Tractivity. It's pretty much like Teamzy. I love that Teamzy also gives you scripts to use. So that's what I've been using. But there's no way that you can remember everyone that you talk to. And when you need to follow up with somebody, you have to have that good system in place or they will fall through the cracks. And somebody that you could have helped would have been helped by someone else. And I had one girl that I was talking to all the time, and I just didn't talk to her that weekend. And Monday, when it was time for me to follow up with her, she signed up with somebody that weekend. I'm like, ugh. So it's gonna happen. Just wash it off and move on. Don't focus on it. We can't focus on the negative. But again, back to my number 1 tip, guys, is you've got to do the work even when you don't want to. Even when you don't want to. That is the most important. If you don't take anything else away from what I talked about today, you got to take that away. You've got to do the work even when you don't want to. That's where your consistency is going to be. That's where building the habit's going to be. Just like when we have to do our workouts when we don't want to. It builds a habit that when we're half asleep, we're still in our workout clothes, walk into the workout room, getting ready to sweat. Because it's a habit. And it's got to be the same thing with your business. I feel off if I don't work my business that day. Just because that's how I keep my consistency. It's a question I get from a lot of coaches on my team is, how do you stay so freaking consistent? Like, you don't ever not work. We have an accountability group and I send my Teamzy screenshot by usually 11 o'clock every day. I am done with my invites. I've done my 30 invites for that day. And I've done all my other work and I send it to them and they're like, every day, the same time. I'm like, I do it whether I want to or not. It's just, there's no secret sauce. You just have to want it and you have to be self-driven. Your coach doesn't have the energy or the time to give you the drive. You have to be self-driven. You have to want it enough because we always want it so badly for our coaches, but you have to want it enough to do that. I'm going to give a quick second, see if anybody has questions before we hop off on anything that I talked about. And another thing that I did while I'm waiting for any questions is I upped my number. I was hitting 10 all the time. Then I noticed I was getting to 12 and 14. It was going above 10. And I was like, you know what? I want to see if I can help 10 people every month and hit 20 every month. So I upped my number. So just so you have an idea, I invite 30 people, a minimum of 30 people a day. So I was doing a minimum of 30 people a day. Sometimes, like yesterday, I did 42. So with those numbers, I think I ended 22 last month. So just so you can have an idea of the numbers game with all of it. So I'll give a second, see if anybody has questions. Call this activating my superpowers. Okay, what's an invite for me? My invites are a couple different ways. Sometimes I invite some new friends, and it's a simple invite of, and I'm inviting to both challenge groups and coaching. I kind of do what Michelle was saying that she does, and I focus on my challenge groups at the beginning of the month, and then I focus on coaching towards the end of the month. But if I am speaking to somebody that I think is a good coach, when I'm talking to them about the challenge group, I will bring up about the coaching, why I think they would be a good coach, which is very important. You need to tell them why you think they would be good, not just because you want a coach on your team. There has to be a reason why you're presenting that to them. And they need to hear how amazing you think they are and why you think they would be a great asset to your team. But I have a couple simple invites. One of mine for new friends is like, hey, I know we just started talking, but I just want to I want to let you know what I do, and I'd love to hear what you do, in case what both of us do is something that we can benefit from. And then I explain what I do, and I'm like, so if you or anyone you know could benefit from my assistance or my guidance, just let me know. I would love to help you. That's a simple invite for a new friend. Sometimes I'll type up an invite that day, like if I'm focusing on a specific group, like I am doing a booty group in my free group right now. I have a constant open free challenge group that I just keep adding people to. So I wrote out what I wanted, and then I copied and pasted the people I wanted to invite to that group. Guys, I get my 40 invites done in an hour and a half. Doesn't take that long. If you think of what invite you want, then I'll copy and paste that to the people that I want to invite to that. Then I'll think of the other thing I want to invite, and the same thing. I copy and paste. But I do the first of every month starts my free group. The third Monday of every month, which is towards the very end of the month, I do my paid challenge group. That way, the whole beginning of the month, I'm focusing on getting those people into the paid challenge group. And then I do my coach sneak peek, usually about mid-month, and the people that I've spoken to that month about my challenge group, I invite them to my sneak peek. So then that way they can see about coaching. Let me see the other question here. So an invite to me, I keep it simple. I think of Facebook Messenger as my virtual party. And I think of how I would talk to somebody if I met them at like a dinner party or a dance party or something. So I am just 100% me when I'm talking to these people. Sometimes I'll invite on a voice memo. If it's a day that I know I have to be quick, I'll invite on a voice memo. Some days I'll record in the morning a video of myself explaining my next group, inviting them, and why I think they could benefit from joining my group. And when I'm ready to do an invite to somebody, I will just send them that video. And then that way I don't have to type out the invite. I can be like, okay, this would be a great person to invite. Let me just attach my video to the message. And I'll send it with like a little heart or a cute emoji or something like that. So those are my invites. But I constantly am inviting to challenge groups and the business opportunity. I try to get people on the phone as well. So if there's somebody that's super interested and they want more information, my first question is, great, I'm excited to chat with you about it. So where is best to talk? Would you like to continue talking on here, or would you like to set up a phone call? That way I can answer all your messages at one time. I just did a phone call yesterday of a girl that I met on Instagram. And she has a trainer, she is a trainer, but she feels she needs something more. And after talking, she's super excited. And then we talked a little bit about her joining the team. So you can invite and then get people on the phone as well. Let's see, any other questions here? Katie, what do you mean BB focused or no? Are you meaning my invite? I never mentioned Beachbody in my posts, in my message thread. The only time I do is when they ask, what company are you with? Then I'll say, I'm with Beachbody. Have you heard of us? But other than that, I don't usually use the word Beachbody because Beachbody pays enough. Beachbody pays enough for their advertisements, so I don't usually use the names. I don't say this is Shakeology, it's my superfood, or my activating my superpowers, or whatever. Yeah, I really love getting them on the phone because they can hear your excitement. And it's a lot easier because they're not reading what you're typing based on how they think you're saying it, if that makes any sense. Text can be perceived totally different than how you're meaning the words that you're typing. So I love getting them on the phone because I feel I can answer all their questions. I feel that I can crush the objections a lot easier. And that comes with time and practice. I used to suck at objections. I feel I've gotten a lot better with objections, which is why I'm able to help more people every month as well. And it's only because now I don't worry of the outcome. I'm 100%, like I had one girl, like, I forget what she was saying, but she didn't want the shake. She was all about not wanting the shake. She ended up buying a challenge pack. Because I'm like, what do you think the shake is? That you're so against it. Please tell me what you think it is of why you are so dead against, I don't want that shake. Just ask questions, guys. Be like a 5-year-old. But why? But why? But why? I promise you, the more questions you ask, you're going to realize that the reason why they're really not starting. Because they're not giving you the real reason at the beginning. They're just giving you whatever reason they think will push you from continuing to talk to them. But if you ask questions, you'll find the real reason. And then you'll be able to, that's their real why. So you're able to help them a little bit better. All right, I'm getting ready to hop off here because we've been on for a while. Are there any more questions before I hop off? I don't want to cut anybody off if there's any questions. And then I got to go do my reading because I go live every morning on my like page between 7:30 and 8 o'clock with a little takeaway from my reading or whatever thought might be in my mind at that time. Okay, I don't see any more questions come through. So thank you guys all so much for joining me this morning. I had such a great time sharing with you guys. And I'm always available. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to just message me here on Facebook. If you have any questions or you want to see what one of my invites looks like or what a combo looks like or anything like that, I would love to chat with you guys some more. Have a wonderful, wonderful Friday. Great weekend. Cheers. Oh, I will, Katie. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.